hello everybody. Hello. It is me. I am here in one piece. Aren't you all so glad? So, a few hellos just before I start, as always. Hello to Phil, Betsy, to Mr. Tippy Tempest, to a lovely Emma. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for being here. I know it's so early in the morning for you. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Babs. It's Babs. We call her Babs. I don't know why I try calling her Barbara. She's Babs. The lovely Terry. Simon. Hello, welcome on in, lovely. I hope you're having a good day. I hope everyone's having a good day. So I know I kind of said this whole mystery collection thing, right? Now, I had Caroline. Hello, lovely. I have had another little a little turn up for the books. Now, these came from a source that I wasn't expecting it from. I'm not allowed to say who that source is for reasons, but I had these turn up at my house, which I'm very, very grateful for, because I didn't have to pay for them. So this is the little mystery collection that we have, and I've gone ahead and I made a little something with it, because I thought, you know what, I think we need to see how this is going to work before I actually do it on a live, because I could just completely ruin it. Hello, Christine. Welcome on in, lovely. Hello, Corinne. Welcome on in. So this evening we're going to be making this lovely pop-up card that folds flat in the shape of a hexagon, and it stands up nicely. He says it's been standing up nicely until I moved it. It's been standing up lovely, and it's going to have all these lovely butterflies that just pop up out of it in acetate. And I didn't get round to putting a sentiment on it because I don't know who it's going to go to. So we'll make another one and we'll actually put a sentiment on this one. So that is our lovely little project for this evening. It really is the loveliest little thing. I like it. It's really, really pretty. Or at least I think it is anyway. So, I think we just need to kind of get in and crack on with it, don't we? So, I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to get my cutting plates out. My die cutting plates. Because all we need for this is one cut of one die. Everything else is done by measurements. So, this is going to be a fun one. Because, you know, some of you may or may not know that I get a little bit blip. And then things go a little bit whoop. And we'll see what happens. So all I'm going to do is take a piece of my black cardstock. This is the 300 GSM, and I can't remember if it was 5 3/4 that was half, or if it was 5 1/4. I'm losing my maths here. 5, because it's 11 and a half. As I believe it was 5. I think it is 5 1/4, you know. Yes, that looks kind of... No, it's going to be 5 1/2. I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2 just to make sure. But either way, as long as I have enough cardstock, which I don't because I cut it too small. Okay. It's 5 1/4. I'm going to have to use my other sheet of cardstock. It's all happening here, guys. It's all happening here. That's all I'm going to say. It all happens here, doesn't it? Or is that just what I did? Oh my gosh, I'm losing the will over here. Right, I'm going to have to get out some more cardstock. It's because I'm not used to being live today. That's what it is. Let's just actually cut it at 5 1/2, where I thought it was in the first place. So I'm going to cut it A4 sheet, 5 1/2. That will do, because I can use that to cut out the 2 diamonds that I need from that. So I'm just going to stick that down just a little bit. Just a little bit on the outside edge. And I'm actually, just to make sure that they don't fall out of alignment, I'm going to put a little bit of extra tape just there. Now, it doesn't matter as long as you can get that diamond shape cut out. That's all that we're aiming for with this. Come on, die cutting machine. You want to work for me. It is a very sunny Saturday, Simon. It's a very sunny Saturday. Now, that's not going to have cut through both layers, but it's not a problem because I can just pull that one out and leave the die cut where it was. And it will still cut through the second layer. There we go. And there we go, we've got both of our hexagons cut and ready to go. Now, the next part is the fun bit. So, what I need to do is organise my next sheet of cardstock from the measurements of this hexagon edge. So I'm just going to move my plate out of the way. And you could do this with any size you could do this with any size shape. You can use a love heart, you can use a circle if you want to. It's a bit more complicated with a circle, but you could use a square, hexagon, triangle, you know, whatever, you name it, you can use it. So all I'm going to do is just measure up to here, because I've got my little measuring on my glass mat here. And from 0 to 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 is my measurement. So now I'm going to get out my scoring board. I'm going to flip that to this side, 2 3/4. And all I'm going to do is score at 2 3/4 on the short end going down. So 2 3/4, and I'm going to give it another 2 inches. So 2 3/4. Wait there, 2 3/4. Another inch would be 3 3/4, and then another inch would be 4 3/4. And then I'll do another 2 inches, so 1, so that's 5 3/4 to 6 3/4. I'm just going to score straight down the board. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it. Which way did I turn it? No, there wasn't a turn, was there? And then there was another half. It's about another 1/4 to about 1/2 inch. I'm going to do about 1/2 inch down there. And then this is our excess piece coming along here. So all I'm going to do is put that in my paper trimmer. And I'm just going to cut that excess piece off. Now the great thing about doing the scoring and then using a paper trimmer like this is that score line will actually fall into the little line here, and it will line up perfectly for you to cut it off. So this we don't need. It could go. And then we're going to bring back in our scoreboard, because we don't want to get too confused, do we? And I believe we have to score. Do we have to score this way? I can't remember. It's so terrible of me. Yes, because I need to. So every 2 3/4. It was 2 3/4, wasn't it? I did it out. Make sure I've got that up the right way. Yeah, 2 3/4, 2 3/4, 2 3/4. Right. So now I need to score down here 2 3/4 each way, going this way. So. Oh, no, did I? No, I don't need to do that. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm confusing myself this evening. I don't know what's going on with me. It's this card base is throwing me off. Now, so you can make this card you can make this size, the sides, any height that you want. So I believe on that one I went with roughly about 3 inches. Yeah, it's about 3 inches. So all I'm going to do is, along the short side, I'm going to cut my 3 inches, and I only need 2 pieces of this at those 3 inches. So I'm just going to 3 inch and 3 inch. I'm really sorry, it's only because I've translated this from metric into inches, and it's kind of thrown me off a little bit. So that's why I'm having that little moment there. So up to now you should have 2 strips that should be evenly scored at 2 3/4 inches, which don't look like they are evenly scored at 2 3/4 inches. Because that one's big enough, but those 2 aren't. I've muddled it up somewhere along the line, haven't I? I'm really sorry about this, guys. I don't know why. But I seem to be having a bit of an off day. But it's okay, it's only card, as my dearest friend Betsy says. It's only card. So 2 3/4. Then let's go to 4 and... It's not going to be 4 though, is it? Because that's nearly 3. I can't make the conversation either. I'm not very good at this measuring malarkey, it would seem. So that's 2 3/4, I know that. So the next one should be at 5 3/4. Just want to make sure. I don't understand how that's not. So that's 2 3/4. So then from there to there isn't quite. It's 5. Oh, 5 1/4. And then the next one, there's no room for a. There's no room for the flap, and I need a flap. Maybe I should just do this in English, in metric, because I've got it down in metric to a T. So I'm going to have to do it in metric. I'm really sorry, guys. It's 7 centimetres in metric. I'm going to have to do it in metric. So I'm switching to centimetres. So 7, scoring at 7 centimetres. I've got this down to an absolute art in metric. So 7 centimetres, 7, and then 2 7s are 14, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I was right, it's 14. So that's what I need for the 2 sides then, plus an extra centimetre for the flap. There we go. Trying to convert it is just nonsense. I should just do it as I first visualised it. But it is about 3. It is about 3 3/4 inches. 2 3/4 inches, even, I should say. Right, let's just cut that off. No, that's not right either, because there still needs to be 3 of those. Oh, for goodness sake, Gareth. Right, I'm going to push out that line, because I'm not wasting any more card stock. I'm just being silly at the moment. So 14, and then another 7 centimetres after that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? How did I do this yesterday? It was absolutely perfect yesterday when I did it. It all came through absolutely perfect, and I had no issues, and it was all fine. Let me just push that line out on there because I'm not going to waste good cardstock. Right, so 6.5, 12.5, I'm really sorry about this, guys. And then the extra half centimetre for the tab. So I've scored this at every 6.5 centimetres, and plus I've given a little extra there for the tab. I do apologise. I shouldn't really keep apologising. I don't know what's going on with me. I think I'm still a bit ill. No, I just made a boo-boo. Caroline, it's absolutely fine. So you should have three scored panels that look like this, all at 6.5 centimetres with an extra centimetre for a flap at the end there. And all I'm going to do is take this to 7 centimetres in length, and I'm going to chop that, and then I'm going to do it again, 7 centimetres in length. But this can be any length that you want. You can make this as tall or as short as you like, guys. There we go. So you've got those two panels just there, and you should have 2 hexagons just here. Now, just to confuse things a bit more, I am going to swap to inches for this part. So all I'm going to do on this with the hexagons is I'm going to line them up point to point down the middle, and I'm just going to score a line just to start with. So just down the middle, and it does help if you do put this black line like I have here onto my scoreboard, so you can see where you're lining it up. And you do need to have it in this orientation, so it does need to have the 2 sides like that. That's the correct orientation to get this scoring in. And then what we're going to do is bring back in our little chopping, and all I'm going to do is bring that point where I've scored it to the 2 centimetre line, and then I'm going to cut. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on both of these. It would be helpful if you kept them both together from the initial die cutting of them, but just because that helps save a little bit of time. But as long as you have the 2 that look like that, and then you'll have 2 that look like this. Now for the next part of these, all I'm going to do is line them up on the long side on the scoreboard. And this is where it is going to get a bit confusing, because I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. And I'm going to do that on both pieces, guys. So at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. And at this point, I'm not going to fold or burnish anything just yet, because I have more cuts to do. So along this part just here, this very outer part, I'm just going to line that up in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut. So that's another spare piece that we don't need, and it's this back piece just here, guys. Okay, so that, just making sure I line it up. I'm chopping it off. Then you should end up, I've done it wrong, but it's fine, with 2 pieces that look like this. Now, I've made a little bit of a mistake, and I should have actually cut off this outer edge part here, not the back part. So that's my mistake, but it's not a problem because it's still easily salvageable. So just for now, all I'm going to do is cut off these triangle corners because we do not need those. This will leave us a little bit too big, but like I say, we can fix this. It's not a problem. So I'm just going to chop those away. At the moment, Phil, I don't mind, honestly. So I'm just going to trim these down to the 6.5 that they should be. Now I'm going to go a little bit over because I know my cutting isn't the most level. Actually, that's really level on that side, so we just chop that side away. But whatever happens, you need these two bits to be at 6.5 centimeters, which will match up with your hexagons. So there we go. 6.5 centimeters. We are working in centimeters this evening. Right now, I'm going to fold and burnish these little flaps. And I'm going to do the same on the big hexagon parts as well. Hi Hannah, welcome on in, lovely. I hope you're having a good evening. There we go. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Now, what I'm going to do is, just because I don't want them to be poking out on the outside, I'm going to have these hidden underneath. So what I'm going to do is just flatten that out, and I'm going to bring that in and just bring it right up to the edge just there. And hopefully you guys can see this. All I'm doing is gluing the tabs onto the underside of the hexagon. So it would help if the glue was actually taking. It does take a little while for this glue because I am using the Collal all-purpose. I do find it the best for construction. So I'm just going to give that. So you should end up with two parts of a hexagon that look something like that. And you'll have, as long as you glue your flap on the inside, it won't poke out when you make your final base up. So I'm just trying to be a bit cautious with the glue. And again, I'm just bringing in the other half of the hexagon, and I'm going to bring it in and just line it up. I'm going to take off the excess of that glue because I don't want that sticking to my project. I don't want that showing up on my project even, I should say. And then I'm just going to pop those to the side just to dry. But you should have something that looks like that, which will then eventually resemble the top part of your card. Isn't that cool? Right. Now, whilst we're doing that, I'm going to bring the lovely side panels in. And I'm just going to bring them in and fold and burnish along all the lines. There we go. There we are. So I'm just making sure I'm keeping the card lined, and I'm folding, just making sure that it's not going over at the sides, and burnishing. Now, because I don't want the two tabs to be together like that, I'm going to bring them together, and I will stick them together like this when it's time for them to be stuck together. So there'll be a tab at each corner, like so. Actually, I might quickly do that just now. And I'm only going to do this one in the middle for the moment. because what we're going to do next I'm just burnishing that down to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. What we're going to do next is we're going to bring in our cutting mat, our cutting tool, and we're going to bring in the flaps, the hexagons from the top of the card base. So I'm just going to bring in my metal edged ruler, and you can do these randomly if you want. I'm probably going to only put 3 in on each side on this one, but you can put as few or as many as you like. Now I'm going to do the equivalent of 1/2 inch slits in the cardstock. And I'm just going to do them in a stationary position. But you can do these as randomly or as open as you like. Just make sure that you definitely get through the cardstock there, because I'm using 300 GSM, so it is going to be a little bit of a pickle to cut through. But it will get there. There we go. Just so long as you have a few little slits in there so you can see those. They don't have to be perfect by any means. I was a secret squirrel beforehand, Hannah. So what we're making is this lovely butterfly pop-up box card, and I had these sent to me by a very lovely benefactor whose name I'm not allowed to reveal. So that was why I was being a super secret squirrel and a bit of a tease. Christine, I'm watching on the big telly, 60 inches. Wow. And I'm in and out. They keep having people come to my garage sale. Yay! Well done, Christine. I'm glad that the garage sale's going well for you. I like the platform box with exploding butterflies. They're really cute. I really like it. It's most certainly a really good. It's a really good little make, and it's certainly worth the time and the effort, I can say. There we go. Hi Sarah, thank you for popping in, lovely. I hope you're having a good day. I just need to bring that down a little bit because I don't think that was quite a big enough cut, nor was it quite deep enough. There we go. I don't want those nasty little bits floating around on there. No, Caroline, I don't think she is selling off her paper pads. Right. So there we are. Now, hopefully, we should be in a bit of a position just to glue the tabs onto here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them on to the center squares on each side panel there. So you should have something that looks a bit like that. And all I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to trim the corners out just to make sure that these don't overlap, because we wouldn't want that to happen. So I'm just going to trim those corners out so our connecting flap doesn't There, that's much better. I'm very happy with that. Oh, thank you, Gaz. I'm trying Kendra's... Oh, well done. You're on card 6. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad you're trying the challenge. Don't forget to go to her Facebook page when you're done and enter yourself into the competition. Why do I feel like I've done something wrong? I have. I stuck that on the wrong tab. So what a banana, right? Am I right? What a banana. And I shouldn't even really be sticking it up that high because you want to have a little edge around the top there. So that's my fault again. So I'm just going to leave a little centimetre gap around the top. So this should stick about a centimetre down because you do need to have that little bit of a lip around the top. That's what keeps the platform up instead of from popping down. Just making sure that that's lined up nicely. I was wondering why I thought that's too close. That's too close. Why are you doing this to me? You naughty little piece of cardstock. I don't know what's going on. It just seems that everything today is just kind of like... just kind of like... What are you... It's like... You're not meant to be crafting today, mate. It's your day off. Why are you in here? What are you doing? You're upsetting our day. So just to make sure that this is all level, he says. Why is that too small? That should not be too small. That fits perfectly. Why are you being a numpty Nora? Everything just does not want to seem to come together today. Let's try taking that down a smidgen more because I think I've... There we go. There we go. I glued it out of alignment. Oh, I've gone seriously under on the... I've gone under on the measurements. So I'm going to have to remake my panels. How could I have gone under on the measurements? 6.5. 7 centimetres, Gareth. It's 7. Not a problem. Not a problem. Right, I went under by 0.5 centimetre. So I'm going to have to remake my side panels again. So let's do this again. At 7. Scoring along and down at 7. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at 14. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then that doesn't work, but it worked when I did it the first time round. I don't understand. Right, let's push those score lines out. I've probably gone a long way along the card, haven't I? Let's just do... push those out. Let's go 7. 7, 14, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, okay, maybe the big scoreboard it is. I'm having a great day today. So, you know what? I can use that card for something else. So, let's score at 7, 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 21. Give it an extra centimetre, so 22 for the flap. There we go. I do apologise if you are following along with this in the replay, guys. It shouldn't really have been too much of an issue for me doing this. Unfortunately, I'm having a bit of a bad day. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. If you don't have one of these already, or you don't have a paper trimmer, or you're looking for a paper trimmer, this is the Creative Craft Products trimmer from the lovely Craft Stash. Now, I don't know, some of you may or may not know that I am an affiliate of Craft Stash now. So there is a lovely little link in the description box of this video where you guys can all go and use my little link, and it doesn't cost you guys anything extra at all. It just kicks a little bit of money to me as a commission. And all of the money that I would get in the way of commissions would go back into buying products for the channel, and for supporting the channel as well. So there we go. We're now back in a proper place. So I have scored these both out at 7 centimetres, 7 centimetres, 7 centimetres, an extra centimetre on the end there for the flap. Now we're right back where we were before it all went a little bit wobbly. So there we go. Do that. It does help if you... Was it just for attention? It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me, but he's a bit of a klutz. And I told him that he really needs to get himself booked into the doctors to have a test on his balance. Right, so now these flaps are going to be a little bit little because I did adjust them, but we should be all right still. So I'm just going to do exactly what I did the last time. I'm just going to bring those two together and give them a good burnish so that that glue gets all nicely activated, and it means it won't move as much, which is exactly what we don't want it moving. And I'm going to line that up about actually I'm just going to do it properly. I'm going to come in with my ruler and a pencil. I'm going to measure in about 1 centimetre down, put a little mark there, I'm just going to line it up and apparently ruin my glue joint, which isn't a problem because it just goes straight back down. I'm going to carry on on that centimetre gap. Behave yourself, Mr. Ruler. We do not want you bobbing off everywhere. But the main purpose is just so that you know where you're putting your hexagons in. So just underneath that line, or on the line, whichever one you prefer. As long as we know where it goes, that's the main thing. And there we are. Oh dear, Christine, I don't want to know what you did last night. It was nice being introduced to your friend Ray. That was for sure. And there we go. And then we should have something that comes together a little bit like this. Ta-da! It's not going to come together properly straight away, but I'm just going to fold those out and bring those in. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to glue these tabs together. We're not going to worry so much about what the centerpiece is doing. Oh, I just got shushed. Right. So I'm just going to do a quick recap. But even then, that 7 centimeters is too big. Because that should be... That's too big. It's not going to hold up. There's something very wrong. I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to remeasure this die because that's not right. It is pretty much 7 centimeters. It's 6 and so many eighths. Just very strange. Because that one works perfectly and fits together perfectly, and this one is just not. I don't know where I've gone wrong. Because that is that die shape when they come together. So I don't know exactly where I've gone wrong, but I've gone wrong somewhere. Even adjusting that's not helping. I don't know what's wrong. I think I'm going to have to start again from the beginning. This is just the card base. It shouldn't be giving me this much trouble. So, where are we? So 11 and a half. 6. 6 and a quarter. 6 and a quarter. That should be fine. Right, I'm going to recut the die. I don't know what I've done that's made this go completely awry, but I will get there. Apparently, even if it takes me all night, yeah, I will get there. Have I ever watched the Spectrum Art Creations live streams? No, I haven't. I do like T's live streams though, she's lovely. Right, flip and rotate. I will get back to the beginning again very shortly. I'm not too sure. But I'm just glad that, you know, you guys can see this, because then you know I'm just the same as anybody else. If anything goes wrong, it goes wrong, you know, at the end of the day. And if I've got to start again from the beginning, then I'll start again from the beginning. It's absolutely no problem. But we're all humans, and it's just crafting, and it's just paper. It's just a bit of paper, a bit of card. It's not the end of the world. I don't know who I'm trying to convince with that statement, if it's you guys or me. Let's just run this through. So we're back to the beginning again with 2 hexagons. Ta-da! We're back at the beginning again. So we're going to try this one more time. So on the hexagons, I'm going to line up the central point on this edge and score straight down. And I'm going to do that on both hexagons. There we go. I'm just going to set those to the side a moment whilst I take this out of the way. Bring in, and I'm going to put that central point in line with the 2 centimetre, and I'm just going to chop. Sometimes when you're doing something like this and it feels like it's all going wrong, the best thing you can do really is just kind of, you know, just take a little step and start again. Where it's all nice and fresh. There we go. On the 2 centimetre line again. Oh my god. It's not like you know I'm streaming. Sorry, Aaron's bombarding me with messages. then I'm just going to score at half on here, half an inch, and then on the inch I'm going to do the same on here, half the inch, and on the inch. There we go. Now I'm not going to make the same mistake as I did last time. I'm going to trim off the largest outer edge piece on these. Just line it up with your line it up on your paper trimmer. Line it up on your paper trimmer. And chop it off. And then the good thing about this is that when you have these flaps, is that these edges will fit exactly in with the hexagons as they're meant to. So all I'm going to do is just chop off the triangles to make them straight, or at least as straight as I possibly can, because we all know who I am. Straight and straight. There we go. I'm just going to pop those to the side a moment whilst I bring in my big boy scoreboard. And we're going to do this again. Now I'm going to precisely measure this from there to there. So it is just a little over 6.5. Which means on my scoreboard I only have the options of 6.5 or 7. Let's see what it was in inches again. Because if I can make this work in inches, it might be better. So it's 2.5 inches. So if I go on my inch side, put that along there. Score at 2. I'm going to go just 1 notch over the 2.5. So then our next score line will be 4.5. With 1 little notch, not 4, because I need to give 2 inches, don't I? So that's 1, 5, 5 and 1, 5.5, 5. So that's, oh, for goodness sake, I just need to measure and make sure I'm doing this correct. So that's 2.5, just over 2.5. That's well over 2.5. So that should be at 5.25 with the extra 1. Oh, I'll get there. 5.25 with the extra 1. So that's 2. Just over 2. With the extra 1. 5.25 is with the extra 1. So 5.25. Then another 2 inches from 5.25 is 7.5 plus the extra 1. And then I'm going to go to 8 inches to give it the extra flap. So we should have all 3 panels measuring just over 2.5 inches, 2.5, 2.5. That was with the 2.5. So the 8 was with the was the 2. Actually, it's not even that. It's the... Right, I just need to make sure I'm getting this correct because I don't want to put it together wrong again, guys. So the measurement is 2.5. 5.25. 8, 7.25. Wait there. Just gotta make sure that's not 8. It's the little notch just before the 8 inch for this one. And then we're going to put an extra 1/4 inch on for the flap. So there we go. So following the new one, you should score at 2.5, 5.25, 7.75. Well, 7.75, but it's the notch just before the 8 that you need to score. And then it's an extra 1/4 inch after that for the flap, which will take you to 8.25. 8.25. I'm so sorry about the this is all getting a little bit out of hand for me, isn't it? I'm kind of going through cardstock like it's free. But, you know, like I said, it's only cardstock, it's not the end of the world. So all I'm going to do is just trim that excess bit off the edge there like I did the first time. Ta-da! And I'm going to bring that in at 6 centimetres for this one, I think. Well, actually, no, we're going to go in at 2.5 inches. No, let's be brave. 2 3/4. 2 3/4. 2 3/4. There we go. I think that's quite enough. So we have 2 panels that are just over 8.5 long, with 2 extra 1/8 of an inch on those, which is scored at 2.5, 5 6/8, and then at 7 8/8, I think. It's the little notch just before the 8 inch. It's the very last one, so you can't really go wrong on that one. And I'm going to bring all the rest of my bits and bobs back in, and this should be it. So I'm just going to fold and burnish everything. Folding and burnishing, folding and burnishing. Hi Suzette, well, come on in, lovely. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. There we are. I'm just going to quickly stick these tabs on before I fold and burnish everything else. Now you should see that because I've done it correctly this time, that these should just line up straight away. There should be no qualms, no ifs, no buts or ands or maybes. All lovely, nicely straight on there, all nicely lined up. I've not had to do any adjustments at all whatsoever. Fabulous. That's what we love to see. Hi Craft by Jay, welcome on in mate, I hope you're doing well. We're making a pop-up card, a pop-up box card this evening. So we're making this lovely butterfly pop-up box card that folds flat. I'm glad you're doing well, Suzette. Oh, you're doing an online summit. Oh, that sounds fancy. That sounds really fancy. And there we go. Let's just get those all burnished down. It will be fancy by the time I get there. Thank you for saying that, Suzette. I really appreciate that, sweet pea. I'm just folding and burnishing the side panels just now. Just making sure that they don't overfold or make a funny angle or anything. Making sure they're all nicely aligned. There we go, just make sure that's all nicely burnished. Ta-da. Let's just get rid of that. People know I'm live, but they can't leave me alone. Silly bananas. Right, now all I'm going to do on the side panels is what I should have done the first time round, measuring about 1 centimetre or so down and running that line right across the top there. It doesn't have, 1 centimetre is about 1/4 of an inch, so you could take it as about 1/4 of an inch, guys. There we go. As long as it's the same on both pieces, we're all good, because it should all nicely line up. There we go. Nice line. All done. Now we're going to glue our tabs just below this line, so that the top of the hexagon is right in line with that. And again, exactly the same on this side, just in line with that. And I'm just going to give it a nice burnish down. Fiddle faddle. I've done it the same. Correctable error. Because I don't want those tabs being the same side, they need to be opposite ends, because we can't have both tabs sticking together, can we? Because it would look silly. All I'm going to do is just put some glue on that tab, butt them up together, just making sure they're in line and sticking them down. And there we go. And now when we do this, we should have something that comes together a little bit more smoothly. Yes, well done. Woohoo! Don't worry about making the two inner tabs line up correctly straight away, because we will get that done. Oh gosh, it's 5:30 in the morning for you, Sarah. You are an absolute trooper. Thank you for being here. Why is that not sticking? It normally sticks like glue, like concrete. It's being a little unpredictable madam today. I don't understand why. And there we are, guys. We have our little stand-up platform. Isn't that cool? That only took an hour. That should have took about 20 minutes. But there we have it. There we go. Right, now we can actually move on to doing some stamping. So, I really like the Monarch butterfly. I think I'd like to use that one. Much better! Yeah, it's much better. Most definitely much better. So, I'm just going to pop that to the side for now so that can dry and do whatever it needs to do whilst we do some stamping. Now, I've got some watercolour cardstock, because you know what I'm like. I know you guys all know what I'm like for watercolouring. I absolutely adore it. I can't help myself. It's one of my most favourite things to do. So I'm going to bring in another new toy, which I know some of you have been gasping at for me to show off, because some of you know about it, some of you don't, which is the lovely Ultra New stamping wheel. Now, this, I cannot express how much I love this at all. I cannot express, because in here you've got a big photopolymer plate which will hold your cardstock, it will hold your stencils. I've done some stenciling with it and I've had some fantastic results. I did this bit of stenciling with it the other night. There's no movement on it at all whatsoever. It's absolutely fan-friggin-tastic. So I cannot promote this stamp wheel enough. Even just for normal stamping, it is absolutely fabulous. It doesn't come with the grid. That's just the backing plate like you normally have on any normal photopolymer. It's just that sheeting. All I've done is cut an inch from the entire side and placed the grid underneath there, so I still have something to line my cardstock up with. There we go. I did get it. Yes, some people have the Lisa Horton sticky mat as well. That's very similar. It's pretty much exactly the same thing, to be honest. So all I'm going to do is just line my stamp up, pop my stamp wheel on the top there, flip it straight over, and because my other VersaFine Claire ink pad is a little bit dead, I'm going to pull out my new one. I have had this sat for a little while. I accidentally purchased two of them, which I'm grateful for now. And I'm just going to come in, ink up my stamp, flip it straight back over. I mean, this is just so simple. And you can even use your individual pressing tool if you have one of these, like I do. And okay, that's done nearly a perfect transfer. I just need to add a little bit more ink to it and give it another go. but nearly an absolutely perfect impression first time. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to be very angry at it, and I might even just be a little bit of a naughty chappy and come in and do a little bit of hand pressing myself. And there we go. How fabulous is that? I love it. Love, 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 love it. So I'm just going to put that to the side to, well, I don't know if I want to say set, but dry as such, because I need 2 of these, because I'm going to be putting them in the centre of my, pop-up box. I'm leaving at 4 to go to my friend's house for game night and dinner. Ooh, wow, that's so... Well, I hope you have a great time, Christine. And if you do want one of these, I don't know if Create and Craft still have them or if they're doing another back order of them. I bought this on back order about 2 months ago. I had to wait. That's how popular these things are. It's not very cheap. It was back when I had money that I ordered it. So... And I did kind of sell my soul to the devil a little bit to get it, because I kind of robbed myself a fair bit. But, you know, sometimes you just got to do what you've got to do for the best results, right? And now that I've got it, I wouldn't be without it, because it's just so much easier than using any other stamping platform. I mean, I still love my Tim Holtz stamping platform. It is absolutely fantastic, and I use that for a lot of my day-to-day stamping. But this is fast becoming a favourite. And it's all because of the actual, just simple... I mean, how easy is this? I can just flip. The stamping time is just cut so dramatically using this. I'm not having any problems at all, really. Okay, I have to re-go over it once or twice, but... Stephanie, get it out, try it, use it, you'll love it. I can't recommend it enough. But it is sold by Create and Craft in the UK. I know scrapbook.com have it in America. And I'm not too sure about anywhere else, mind. But yes, it's very it is one of the best things I've ever got my hands on. I will certainly say that. Now all I need to do is just dry these try and dry it off a little bit before I put it through the die cutting machine, because the last thing I want to do is get my cutting plates covered in ink. Go away with the notifications, thank you. I have a DIY stamp pressing tool I made from a Doubt Expert coffee lid. Tracy, I make these myself, and I make them literally from Yankee Candle lids. A little bit of card, some foam, and then some of the stuff that you put on the bottom of your furniture chairs, felt, some of the felt stickers that you put on the bottom of your furniture. Just a circle of that. I've had this for going on 4 years now. Well, Sarah, if you do want to buy from Craft Stash, if you have a little look in the description box of this video, I have a Craft Stash affiliate link, and if you purchase through that, you don't pay anything extra, and it helps me out a little bit. So I'm really grateful for anyone who does choose to shop through that link. Right, let's get the dies out. And I'm just going to align this up with the stamp as best as possible, because she did make these with the half dies. Now you can't put the half die around all at once. You can only do it half at a time, which is a little bit annoying. But it is good if you do want to make this into like a pop-out card or some such like. Not that plate, Gareth, because this is your new cutting plate that you've just started cutting into. Well, I'm glad that you think it's fantastic, Sarah, and I just thought it would be a really lovely way of people being able to kind of contribute to the stream without, without having to spend any money, because I understand there's a lot of, there is a global recession going on and all that kind of jazz. But if you're spending a little bit of money on some crafting stuff anyway, it is nice that if you do use my link, it does really, really help me out so much. And I really appreciate it. And then, it's not like you're actively, sending me money out of your pocket, because, I know that can be really, really difficult. I know how difficult it is at the moment. Right, just trying to line this up. I want to try and get it as perfect as possible. I am by no means perfect, but I will try. It does take a little while to get the knack of doing these. And actually there is a lot going on Craft Stash at the moment. They have they've got £5 deals on. They've got 20% off of Tim Holtz ink pads, and if you sign up for their VIP membership, which is £10 for the year, that gives you an extra 10% off everything as well. So whatever you're spending your £5 on, you're getting an extra 10% off. Whatever you're spending on your, you're getting 30% off your Tim Holtz ink pads, which is just mad because the cost of them, been there, spent that. It's just mad what's going on that website at the moment. I think it's absolutely fantastic, some of the deals they've got going on. There we go. There's always one little bit, isn't there, where it doesn't quite cut. And seeing as we already have this die out, let's quickly just cut these. Oh, thank you so much, Tracy. I really appreciate that. Because all of the anything that's generated from that is just going to go back into products for the stream. So, I'll be able to buy more, show more, and you guys get to see more. So it all helps. And I'm really grateful for anything. I will definitely do that, Gaz, when I can. I think it's great what you're doing. Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, because it's been a bit of a tough year for me so far, and on a personal level, I've had a lot going on. And having you guys here, just being here, has helped me so much. And, I've said it before, I can't thank all of you enough for everything that you do. Just by being here, because the amount of support that you've given me. I mean, I've had people send things in for me to use. I've had some, I've had a few donations here and there. I've just been so blessed by everybody in this community. I cannot thank you enough. I cannot. I do not for America, I'm afraid, Laurie. I know it's on Create and Craft in the UK. But you would be best looking off on scrapbook.com for it. Jay, I don't actually craft full time. I'm just doing this at the moment whilst I'm off of work full time. It's stopping me from going slightly mad. I actually work in the prison service here in the UK. I shouldn't really talk about it. But there were a few things that happened whilst I was at work that, you know, it was serious enough to get to me. And it's affected me quite deeply. And there are a lot of outcomes of that may not be positive, and I may end up actually crafting full time. So it's just a bit of a sitch at the moment. But I'm getting through it. I'm getting better every day. You know, I couldn't even have mentioned it about 2 months ago. So, and now I'm at the point where I can actually talk about it. So, question, the stamp wheel, does it have springs or something to press down on the stamp? Nope. You literally just press down, Laurie. You just press down yourself. There's not a massive amount of space between the lip. You can see just there. There's not a massive amount of space between the lip. So even though the stamp doesn't touch when you put it down, all you need to do is just gently press and it will push down. Or you can use one of these handy dandy little pressure tools. Crafting would be full time. Oh, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. Like, seriously, you don't know how much I do appreciate it. So, oh, you can have me getting all welling up in a minute. You can't have me welling up. I'm too old for welling up. And the great thing about this as well is all I'm going to do is just pop my bits of cardstock on here, because I do have a few things that I want to multi-stamp. So for the first, I'm just going to put that there. Can I get 2 butterflies out of one piece? Excellent. That will put me on track for what I need. Just pick that up. Oh, thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, because, you know, you all are absolute stunning human beings, and I love you all. And that's all I have to say. It's there we go. I'm just going to do this one just by using my finger pressure. And look how well they've come out. Can't get that with any other stamping platform, I could tell you that for free. I'm just going to pop those back down on there on that side. There we go. Re-ink. And straight back down. And I don't even really need to use my pressure tool, because my finger pressure is more than enough. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. I love it. And I'm just going to spin that up the other way, because then that way I don't have to move everything. I'm just going to put that butterfly there. And that butterfly there. I'm stamping on watercolour cardstock, Stephanie. I will probably be around for a little while, because I still have to do a lot of work on the card. Hi Lynn, welcome on in. Don't worry about being late. You're probably better off having been late. Right, so it's just basically a massive photopolymer stamp, Caroline. So this is the back of the stamp that I have facing up. and it's just the same as any other photopolymer stamp. So when it loses your stick, all you've got to do is wash it under the tap in some hot soap, well, some warm soapy water, and give it a wipe off with a lint-free cloth, and it's back in business again. There we go. Let's just take those back off of there. Clean up my stamps to put them away. This really does take the amp. Well, this really does put the amp in stamp. It really does. Let's just make sure I get those properly clean because I don't want icky everywhere. Oh, you're more than welcome, Caroline. More than welcome. It's not this is not a cheap stamping item by any stretch of the imagination. It is quite expensive. You do pay a premium price for it, but then I do think you get what you pay for. Because you can even tell this, like on the bottom side, it's got extra foam on it. It's got these resistant feet, these plastic resistant feet that stop it from moving around on your surface and everything. So it is premium. It's very premium. And just for the speed, I shall bring in my Gemini Mini. And get these butterflies cut. There we go. I think that's a bit too much for one part, so I'll chop that in half. Let's just reline that up and stick that down. I'm just going to do the same over here. With the little one, I watched the story and how she does. There we go. I'm just going to use these on my Mini because it saves the hassle of the G2 for such small cuts. And in theory, I should be able to get through them quicker. Just set those off to the side. I am trying to speed this up a bit. I am conscious of time. There we go. Get those through there. Normally I would flip and rotate the folder on this as well, but again I'm kind of going for speed. There we are. Try and save as much as the low tack tape as possible because it's always handy, because it actually is low tack after you use it a few times. So let's just quickly pop those down there, that on the rubbish pile, put that back there, and that back there. Let's clear out the space. quickly put my brochure back up there for now. Right, where was I with this? Right, let's bring those in. So now we're just going to paint our butterflies. I'm going to be using some aqua markers, so I'm going to use gold and crimson. These are the two colours that I will be using for this in their entireties. And I'm just going to put half a block of it there, half a block of crimson with half a block of gold there, because they make a lovely colour match, I can tell you. So I'm just going to bring in my favourite paint pad, pop down a little squidge of water, and I'm going to start with the biggest butterfly first. Now all I'm going to do is just alternate the colours and follow the pattern on each side. So where there's a little patch, there we go. I'm just going to do the same on this side. That little part there and that part there. And I'm doing the same on both butterflies on both sides because I want them to match when I stick them together. And you guys will see how this will come together when I as soon as I bring in the crimson. So see how pretty those wings look. Oh, Lynn, if you just give me one quick second, I'll show you what we're making. Just as soon as I've just quickly finished painting in these last few bits on the butterflies. It won't be a quick second. I do apologise about the colouring coma because I know it's real right now. I've just gone straight into it. I get the paint out and I just go off into my own world. I'm painting. I'm not live, I'm just painting. Don't mind me, people. So, Lynn, we are making this lovely little pop-up box with butterflies that basically fly out of it. And it also folds down flat. Well, as flat as it will get, anyway. There we are. So now all I'm going to do for the rest of the butterfly wing is I'm just going to mix those two together, the crimson and the gold, and I'm just going to fill it out. I'm just going to block colour fill it out. There is a method to my madness in this, I can promise you. Let's just put down a little bit more water there because it seems to have pulled it up. going to need to put a little bit more of that down. So all it is literally, I'm just going to do about half the block in crimson, half the block in gold. Have a good night, Hannah. Thank you very much for stopping in, lovely. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, darling. I'm just going to mix up a fresh batch of that. And I'm just going to go over the rest of the wing. And I might even just do the internal bit of the... And there we have it. And you can see where it has the lovely yellow and crimson bits just there. Oh, sorry, the yellow and crimson bits that are separated. And then that lovely kind of like orangey outer area there, which I think is really, really pretty. And I'm just going to do the same on the other large butterfly. And I'm just going to actually quickly wipe that off and make another block. So about half with crimson and half with gold. Now you can do this with any of your watercolours. You can take any two or more of your watercolours and make yourself a new colour. It's just really good, and it kind of reminds me of the this like the Snow Fox Glow from the tricolour alcohol marker. And it's just really nice that you can make that colour in the watercolour as well, because I think it just looks so pretty, and it makes the butterfly look so vibrant when you kind of just bring two different colours together, and you just kind of make them work, don't you? I do want to kind of give that a little bit of an extra, because it does seem a little bit light on the body there. And there we go, that's our two largest butterflies done. Now if you want to be really snazzy, you can always come in with your sparkle pen. I'm using my clear sparkle pen. Just to give it that little extra something, of course. Because, you know, if you want a butterfly, or I know if I was going to be a butterfly, I would want to be a sparkly butterfly. So I'm just going to go over the butterfly. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to give it a little bit of coverage so it gets a nice little sparkle. Let me just shut the lid on that and give that a little bit of a shake, because it needs a little bit more, a little bit of encouragement. Leave a little sparkle wherever you go, exactly. And there we go. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there is a lovely little sparkle on there. Now I'm just going to set those two to the side for now. One, to help them dry, and two, because we still have all these lovely little butterflies that I need to need to watercolour. So I'm thinking on these ones we're going to use a bit of burgundy and a bit of yellow. So I'm going to do a big block of yellow, a big block of burgundy, and then we've got our little mixing block just up there. So I'm going to start with the larger ones first. And I'm just going to go around the outer part with the burgundy. And I'm going to do that on all the big butterflies. Just going around the outer parts. With the burgundy colour. Oh, that was me thinking I was mixing some water into it and I wasn't. There we go. And it doesn't matter if you go a little bit over the lines because we've got Mr. Handy Dandy Cloth to take it up. But I am trying to be very careful whilst I'm doing this. So that is why I'm being a quiet bunny. There we go, just quickly run around the outside. There we go, all nicely done. And now I'm going to alternate the yellow. So I'm going to go along the top parts there with the yellow. And the great thing is if you have put a little bit of burgundy into it, it doesn't really matter because it will come straight out. I'm going to skip a section, and this is all I'm going to do is just kind of do a section, skip a section, do a section, skip a section. I'm going to do that on all of the butterflies. There we go. And this is where I bring both of those colours together. And I will just paint in those parts that haven't been coloured in yet. There we go. It gives us that nice darker orange. Oh, sparkly butterflies. Betsy says love it. Simon says oh yes. Well, I'm glad you're all enjoying it. I'm just going to pick up some more of that. I am trying to be mindful of the comments as well, guys, so I do apologise if I'm not saying everything that I should be. I'm going into this painting coma and I'm trying really hard not to. So that's 3 of the butterflies nearly done. And actually, I think I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that and a little bit of that. A little bit of that and a little bit of that, and that's their bodies done too. Oh, and I forgot the eye on that one. There we go. All sorted. That's the 3 bigger butterflies done. So I'm just going to lay down another block of each colour, and what I'm going to do on the smaller butterflies is just alternate what I did on the first 3. So this time we're going to start with the burgundy on the insides. Silly me, I put too much water on that. And little sections on the inside. So everywhere that was yellow on the previous one is going to be burgundy on this one. I'm just going to take it one butterfly at a time because these are so small. They're super duper tinies. I'm just going to do all 3 the same. I'm going to get that burgundy off of there. I'm going to pick up some yellow. And just where everything was burgundy, it's all going to be yellow this time. Every time I try to watercolour, the colours run into each other and outside the lines. Don't know what I'm doing wrong. You maybe just be using a little bit too much water with them, Lynn. I did have that problem when I first started. But it's just kind of not putting a little bit too much water down with them. It's finding the balance. But once you get it, you kind of get it, if you know what I mean. Because like I say, it was a problem I had when I first started watercolouring. It's taken me a long time to get to this a lot of swearing. There's been a lot of terrible words said on my part to get me to where I am with watercolouring today, so I completely understand where you're coming from. It can be a right nightmare. And there we go, that's our butterflies done. Which means I can now come out of the painting coma. How was that? And you know what? I think these deserve a bit of sparkle as well. So I'm going to bring in my sparkle pen again. Thank you, Gaz. Plus, I've not got the patience to wait. That's the thing as well, is having the patience to wait between the colours. Let's just give that a little bit of a squeeze to get that nozzle filled so it's coming down. Because we don't want too much coming out of the pen. Which is kind of what I've done here, but it's not a problem because I have the ability to be able to move it around. So I'm just going to go over them with a little bit of sparkle because I think, you know, they deserve to be pretty, don't they? They've earned their prettiness. It's taken me a long while to get to this point this evening, so I am so grateful for everyone who is able to stay with me and has kind of put up with the faux pas and such, because it has been a little bit of a mad one, but you know, it's seeing the process. You know, I'm a real human being, and not everything happens perfect the first time. I think that's one of the best things that I can show anybody, is that, you know, even though a lot of people think I'm really, really good at what I do, and some people have told me that, I'm not just saying that, they do think I'm quite good at what I do. Even I can have the oh no day, so I think it's great that everybody gets to see that. I love you too, Karen. Thank you for being here, darling, and I shall see you again soon. Thank you, sweetheart. Right. Now, just so that I can show you how to finish this off, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging, because it is coming to the end of time. The end of the time. I'm going to show you how to make the little struts for the butterflies to sit on. So all I'm going to do is do a 2.5 in, well, 2 3/4 actually, and I'm just using a scrap piece of construction weight acetate. I'm just going to bring in my scoreboard. And I'm going to school this at 1/4 inch. Now I'm having to hold on to it pretty tight in the line, and I'm giving it a right good rollicking with the scorer so that it's actually bending, because that's what I want it to do. You are an utter joy to watch. Oh, thank you so much, Lynn. I really appreciate you saying that, my lovely. And then what I'm going to do is just bring in my burnisher and burnish that up. And I'm just going to flatten it back out so we've got that size. And then again, I'm just going to cut these at about 1/2 inch strips. They don't have to be absolutely perfect, but it is what the butterflies will sit on when they go inside. So that's 4. And because I don't have enough, I am just going to bring back in that spare piece of acetate. It's about 2 inch width is what I would probably go with. And I think we cut them at about 2 3/4, didn't we? Yes, we did. We cut it at 2 3/4. So I'm just going to do that again. 2 3/4. And then 1/2 inch strips. Even though we do only really need 2, I've got an extra one there, just in case. And I'm just going to score them at the 1/4 inch. The birds are awake, oh my gosh. And it is actually easier to score them after you've cut. So there we go. You learn something new every day. And because on this one, I don't... Oh, I should still be able to do it. It's not a problem. I forgot to do the slits. I forgot to do the slits on the plate for the little things to go through. But it's not a problem. We can hodgepodge them on. It's not a problem. And these do need to be just 1/4 of an inch slivers randomly on the box lid. You could do them randomly. I'm not going to do them so randomly because I want them to kind of line up a little bit for this one. But as long as you've cut right the way through on your strips, you should be all good. This is much simpler to do before you stick it all together, guys. I'm just going to say that. I'm only doing it this way because I forgot to. And I really need to show you how to put the little struts through. Oh, they're not so bad. Right, so I'm just going to bring in my red liner tape, and all I'm going to do is put a little square of my red liner tape on the tiny little foldy piece that we actually scored. So I'm just going to do that and cut. Oh my gosh, behave. Hi Stamper Girl, yes, I'm still live. Usually I'm done by now. Oh gosh. I'm getting a bit croaky in the throat department. There we go, I'm just going to... I saw my Gaz will be live in 30 minutes and then I fell asleep. Oh, bless you, sweetheart. It's not a problem. It is not a problem at all. I'm just grateful you're here at all. Thank you for being here. So I'm just doing one for each little tab that I've cut into the box lid. And these pieces are a little bit too tall, but that's fine because we're going to adjust them when we put them through. So it's not going to be a problemo at all. But at the moment I'm just going straight in with the red liner tape. Silly me. I'm putting the little squares on. And that one's gone a little bit too much over, so I'm just going to trim that up. And this one I'm going to use for our central butterfly. So I'm just going to use some tacky glue on this. Wherever I have put my tacky glue, it's hiding behind the all-purpose. So I'm just going to apply the glue onto the back of the butterfly. And that's the great thing with these butterflies, they make it so easy to do the central component because they literally line up, because they're what you call it, I can't remember the name of the word, but they're that. And just to make sure there is enough glue, he says, I'm going to put some glue on the back of the other butterfly as well. Their mirror image, I want to say that, or reflection, they reflect, or I can't remember the name of the word. Oh, Barbara's singing, everyone. There we go, just line that up and stick them together. The birds are the first to see. They must tell everyone a song pop. Oh, fair enough. There we go, just making sure that those are nicely stuck together, because that's how we want them to be. And actually on the central one, we don't want it to bend, we want it to be straight. So all I'm going to do is put tacky glue down each one of these little lips that join together in the centre. And I'm going to put the butterfly in so it's stood in line with the centre. I'm just going to push those together, and there we have the beginning. How brilliant is that? I should photocopy it really, so I don't have to colour it again. But I like doing different things all the time, so I'm a bit of a weirdo like that. And all we're going to do now is take the tops off of the pieces that I've already done here, and we're going to push them up through the little slits that I've cut. And locking them into place by pushing that little flap underneath. So it is coming together. It has taken a little while longer than I thought. Oh, go away. Yeah, it's coming together really nicely. The only difficult part now is going to be getting these acetate struts up through. And they can be a little bit finicky, but just bear with them and they will pop on up through. I think some of them are a little bit off on, a little bit over on the red liner tape, so I do not suggest you touch a pair of Crafter's Companion scissors like that, because they are sharp as anything. I've cut myself on them a multitude of times, so just be careful if you're going to do that with a pair of Crafter's Companion scissors. Can't talk about any other brand, but those ones are sharp as anything. Now, as you can tell, this one's being a little bit difficult for me, but it will get there in the end. And I'm just pulling them up and pushing them down, so that they stick nicely. And actually what I will do is finish doing those off air, so that I can show you the butterflies stuck on the front. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim these down a smidgy bit, only a smidgy bit, because I don't want them being too high. And I'm just going to glue the butterflies on there, because I don't want to get stuck on doing butterflies for the rest of the stream, because you know, you guys all know how to put a few bits of acetate up through a slit that you've cut in a piece of card. You don't need me telling you all how to suck eggs. And then they look a little bit like that. So all I'm going to do now is a couple of mats and layers around the outside, and then when I'm done with it, I will post a full picture online. But you have seen the the one that I made before the stream anyway, so you kind of do get the idea of where it's going and how it's coming together. So let's just get, I think I've got a strip of, now I used some of Crafter's Companion wildflower paper on this one, guys, and I just used a bit of Centura Pearl to mat and layer it with. So I'm just going to get another piece out. And I'm just going to measure up, because this is different every time you make it. So if you decide to make this taller or shorter, you're going to get different mats and layers from me. So that is, I'm going to need 2.5 as a mat by, that can't be right, 2.5. It seems to be a 2.5 inch square that I need the mat for. I'm just gonna try that before, so let's just go in, put that in 2.5. by 2.5. Oh wow, I'll be the sun. Right, okay. So on this one I need 2.5 square by 2 square. So my mat is 2.5 by 2.5 and my layer is, oh no, it's not 2, it's 2.25. 2.25 by 2.25. Silly me. 2.25 by 2.25. And then whichever one that you're going to put your sentiment onto around the outside, you would stick on last, and you would obviously do your stamping and that before you stick it on. No, thank you very much for being here, Caroline. I really appreciate it. I appreciate absolutely everyone who's been here and everyone who's still sticking around. Because I'm just going to do this one mat and layer so that you all see what it is, and then I'll bring in the second card, the card that I did as a sample, and you can all see how that one came together. Because this did get a little bit out of hand, didn't it? So there we go. So that's that with the mat and layer on the front there as well. You just go round and finish it all off, and then you'll have something that looks a little bit like this. And it folds down completely so that you can put it in an envelope and post it to your favourite person. So there we go, guys. I'm just going to leave that at that for now. I'm going to finish the second one off of the stream so that we can, and I will post some pictures of it on my Facebook group, Handcrafted by Gaz. You can visit handcraftedbygaz.co.uk and it will send you straight to my Facebook group at the moment. But my website is under development and it is going to be really excitement. It's going to be really exciting when it's done. Just so you know as well, if you are not subscribed, please do. And if you are subscribed, don't forget to ring the notification bell so you know every time I go live or if I upload a video, because sometimes I do upload a cheeky video here and there. I'm going to say a massive thank you to every single one of you for being here. I absolutely adore and love you all. It's been an absolutely fantastic stream. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, day, wherever you are in the world. And once again, have I missed anything? No, I think I like, subscribe, ring the bell. If you do buy anything from Craft Stash, don't forget to use that lovely affiliate link. If you do want to throw a few pennies at the channel directly, there is a donation link down in the box as well. It's not by any way necessary, but it does help keep everything ticking over whilst I'm off work and for future stuff to be brought onto the live. I'm just going to say again, thank you so much for all being here. I love you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye bye, guys. Bye.